Local family called WBTV to speak out in the wake of their daughter's death. WBTV's Claire Kopsky sits down with the Powell family to hear what happened at Levine Children's Hospital when they took their daughter for treatment for a genetic disorder called trisomy 13.
Now Claire is pushing for answers on why the hospital hasn't made changes it promised to those grieving parents.
We canceled our baby showers. We just we had funeral plans.
From Avonlea Powell's first moments, her parents, Melissa and Brian, knew she would have a different life from most kids.
She had about a 20% chance of being born alive.
Avonlea was born in March 2014 and diagnosed with a rare genetic disorder called trisomy 13. Her expected lifespan was just 7 days. However, she persevered for years.
She loved to be in her little chair. She loved to be laying on the ground with the girls kind of running around her.
But all that changed in April 2023. Avonlea, then 9 years old, was admitted to Levine Children's Hospital for a urinary tract infection and then had a series of seizures that ultimately sent her into cardiac arrest.
The general consensus was that she's probably just declining.
Heartbroken while trying to comfort their daughter, the Powells say they hardly understood what happened next.
They told us to call all of our family to come to the hospital because she probably wasn't going to make it.
They hurried their family to the hospital and said their painful goodbyes.
We were definitely led to believe that there was just nothing more that could be done.
But hours later, another doctor stopped by Avonlea's room and suggested they change her seizure medication.
Kind of as a Hail Mary, we said, let's try it, let's try this new medication. And she ended up making a recovery.
Although they were relieved, the Powells say they started questioning the care at Levine Children's Hospital.
Basically makes us feel like we have to have a medical degree just to know what to even ask for.
A few months later, the Powells say they learned Avonlea was in heart failure, which started causing kidney issues.
We started kind of contemplating, should we move all of her care to a different hospital? Because it feels like we should have known about this months ago. How are we just now finding out about this?
They ultimately decided to move her to Novant in August.
This is like our last fall.
While they say she improved and was given months opposed to days on her prognosis, they learned the damage had already been done when she had repeated seizures in the spring.
I think the last few days I was just in denial.
On October 17th, Avonlea Claire Powell passed away. As Melissa and Brian stared at her empty chair in their home, they decided to use Avonlea's story to create change. They met with Levine Children's Hospital's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Andrew Herman. The Powells recorded that meeting. Here's a snippet of Dr. Herman acknowledging changes need to be made.
This hospital needs some updated education on the complexity of trisomy 13 and 18.
I don't disagree. I will apologize on behalf of everybody. Could we have done better? Yeah, we could.
For the Powells, though, the apology was too little, too late.
We just have to live the rest of our lives wondering if they had done everything according to the proper set of standards, how different her life, the end of her life could have been, or if she would even still be here.
In the meeting with Dr. Herman, the Powells were told Levine Children's Hospital would bring in outside consultants who've done research on trisomy 13 to provide more education about that diagnosis to their doctors. They also agreed to make attempts to improve communication between parents and doctors. The Powells have filed 5 complaint reports to the North Carolina Medical Board against doctors and leadership members at Levine Children's Hospital. However, after multiple attempts to follow up this spring about the changes leadership committed to, the hospital has not confirmed that they've made these changes. Back to you.
Claire, thank you. After multiple attempts to ask Levine Children's Hospital about changes moving forward, they responded to WBTV saying, in part, we value feedback and encourage our patients and their families to share their experiences and suggestions with us.